Welcome to Rob Schmitt Tonight. Bob Menendez, New Jersey's senior senator, is one of the most powerful members of Congress. Menendez has been in the Senate for 17 years. He's the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which makes him very valuable to foreign actors. On Friday, Menendez was indicted by the Department of Justice. In a search, investigators found nearly $500,000 in cash, gold bars, and a Mercedes-Benz in his possession. Investigators say the senator took these gifts as bribes for his influence. The indictment accuses Senator Menendez of taking a series of official acts and breaches of official duty in exchange for bribes that benefited him both directly and indirectly through his wife, Nadine. It appears to be standard issue corruption. It seems very obvious, a case that smells very familiar if you've been following the Joe Biden corruption scandal. And the wildest part about this story with Menendez is not the gold bars or the Benz or cash stuffed into his jackets, but the fact that Menendez was indicted for taking bribes from a doctor not that long ago. It was just back in 2015. The senator in that case was acquitted, as it's become increasingly difficult to prove corruption after the case of Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell led to a narrowing of the legal definition of bribery, something that crooked politicians now love. From the New York Times 7 years ago, to prove their case, prosecutors must show that Mr. Menendez's actions and Dr. Melgen's gifts were explicitly traded. The two men argue that they were longtime friends and that they exchanged gifts as part of that friendship. Menendez was acquitted in 2015, even though his actions were very obvious when you read the case. Paid off by that Florida doctor, Menendez pressured the Obama White House to change Medicare reimbursement so that specific doctor would make millions of more dollars a year. Why else would he have done that? That is among other very obvious examples of what happened in that case. But the senator got away with it, and the senator was emboldened after that. Menendez didn't learn his lesson and walk the straight and narrow like most of us would if you'd come that close to going to federal prison. No, he went right back to his old ways, it appears, and he finds himself in trouble again. In this time, Menendez is now playing the race card as an excuse, saying it's not lost on me how quickly some are rushing to judge a Latino and push him out of his seat. So this is who we're dealing with. And today Menendez said this.
My advocacy has always been grounded in what I learned from growing up as a son of Cuban refugees, especially my mom, my hero, Evangelina Menendez. For 30 years, I have withdrawn thousands of dollars in cash from my personal savings account, which I have kept for emergencies and because of the history of my family facing confiscation in Cuba. Now, this may seem old-fashioned, but these were monies drawn from my personal savings account based on the income that I have lawfully derived.
So he says all the right things, right? He loves his mom, playing up the woman vote there, getting the sympathy. He's a victim. He's a Cuban. I needed to save money because Cuba was so terrible. Anybody watching this display was rolling their eyes, of course. The evidence is just too obvious. We all know Menendez is filthy. Even Democrats are demanding his resignation before he even gets to trial, demanding the resignation because of what they see before them. The governor of his state, Phil Murphy, says, get out. But the truth is, Menendez has every reason to be defiant because it's next to impossible to prove corruption in this country, which is why Bob Menendez had no hesitation about falling back into his old routine after his 2015 acquittal. Now widen the lens out and think about the Biden corruption case. Joe, Hunter, and Jim Biden knew exactly what they needed to do here, maintain just enough reasonable doubt in a case testing the high bar for proving political corruption. Remember, Jim Biden laughed when he told Tony Bobulinski that their scheme was safe because of plausible deniability. These cases are actually very similar. In the Menendez case, the senator's wife, Nadine, appears to be the bag man, so she is playing the role of Hunter Biden, the allegation says. Both cases include the gift of a car, although Hunter got a way nicer car, and lots of money. The Biden money was wired into many family bank accounts. Even little kids were getting money from China. What's missing with the Biden case is the explicit, undeniable money transfer to Joe. They don't have the gold bars and the cash in the pockets and, It's not that explicitly proven as of this point. Now, the family members have all that stuff. But remember, the bar is insanely high. It's got to be, yes, I will take this bribe for this amount of money. Why do you think these people do this? Now, that explicit connection is being hunted down right now as we speak. Subpoenas to all 9 family members who have taken money for services that were clearly rendered by Joe Biden, as nobody else in that family is qualified to do more than clean a toilet. So Bob and Nadine Menendez are accused of finding bribery business by opening an international consultant business. That also should sound pretty familiar. Hunter Biden followed the same protocol. In this latest indictment, Bob Menendez is accused of using his power to protect 3 Egyptians from either business competition or legal trouble. In Breaking Today, Professor Gal Luft, one of the many whistleblowers who've come out against Joe Biden and his scheme, says he has offered new evidence to House Republicans that Hunter Biden had a mole inside the DOJ who tipped off Hunter's Chinese communist business partners about sealed indictments coming from federal prosecutors in New York. As soon as the Chinese communists were tipped, Gal Luft says, one Biden partner, Patrick Ho, immediately jumped on a flight from New York to Hong Kong, where the DOJ couldn't get to him. So it's all the same game. You see how similar these cases are. Except the Biden scheme is far worse. Allegations Biden used his power to protect members of an adversarial government. We're not too worried about Egypt. China, on the other hand, is a big deal. The Biden allegations are very treasonous in nature. As for Bob Menendez, he says he is going nowhere and is counting on the same plausible deniability that the Bidens use.
The cornerstone of the foundation of American democracy and our justice system is the principle that all people are presumed innocent until proven guilty. All people. I ask for nothing more and deserve nothing less.